Welcome back to Yokayi Footy Shorts. I'm Megan Waters. I'm a very passionate Warramungu and Yaru woman, and thanks again for joining me for another big week in footy. This season's proving to be so unpredictable. There is a lot to unpack, so hold on to your seats and come along for the ride with me. Wowzers, it was a huge weekend of footy with a lot of ladder-defining games. Let's take a look at the results from the weekend right off the bat. The game between the Cats and the Pies was phenomenal. The Cats have hit their straps, and of course, the Hawks getting it done over the Dockers in Tassie. Now, casting my eye forward to Sunday, and what an exciting game at People First Stadium where the Gold Coast took on Port. Gold Coast broke a 13-year drought with the win over Port Adelaide, and Gold Coast's trend of only winning at home remains unchanged. Their game against GWS next week will be the one to watch. I wonder, can the hoodoo be broken with an away win? And while we are speaking about the Suns, something really caught my eye, and it was so good. It's got to be this week's Yokayi moment. How good was this passage of play from one brother to another, all the way from one end of the field to the other? Ben King gets a bit of a touch on it, but then he gets it back to Longy. Ben Long taps it on to Mally Roses, and Mally seals the deal with this big goal. And of course, the brothers get together to celebrate. And we couldn't leave Lloyd Johnson out of the mix, and I absolutely love that. The brothers always getting around each other and supporting each other, which is what we love to see here on Yokayi Footy Shorts. Now, the next game I want to take a look at is Melbourne versus Essendon. Melbourne were dominant in the midfield off the back of their successful tag on Zachy Merritt. Melbourne's win saw them sneak into the top 8. Had Essendon won this one, they could have secured a top 4 spot. However, this loss puts them 6th on the ladder, and their top 8 berth not looking so secure now, which is a little bit nervy for me as a Dons supporter. But Melbourne were outstanding, and Cozzy Pickett, he had a massive impact on that game, especially with their captain out, Maxi gone. It was good for them to notch a win, and I think it'll give them a bit of confidence coming into the next round. And finally, now I do want to take a look at the Doggies Carlton game on Saturday afternoon at Marvel Stadium here in Naarm. It was Paddy Cripps' 200th game, and it would have been a fairy tale ending to the day if the Blues could have secured the win, but it wasn't to be, unfortunately. The Doggies raining on Paddy's parade off the back of 4 incredible Jamara Ugle-Hagan goals, one of which we just see here, including the match sealer to take home the Chockies. And it is so good to see Jamara in red-hot form at the moment. And speaking of the Doggies, their VFLW team, which features my sister, Courtney Ugle, are off to the big dance. They secured a 44-point win over Williamstown in the prelim final at the weekend, earning them a spot in the VFLW Granny against North Melbourne. They are going to be playing at 12:10 p.m. at ETU Stadium in Port Melbourne on Sunday. So get down there and cheer them on. And of course, good luck to both teams. I'm going to be there with a big banner cheering on my sis Courtney Ugle, so I cannot wait to get down there on Sunday afternoon. Now, I want to take a quick look at the AFL ladder. This is how it's standing after the weekend. The Swans are still cruising on top, 3 clear games ahead. Geelong's moved into the 3rd position with the win over the reigning premiers, and the Maggies' season certainly is on life support at this stage. Can they pull something out of the bag in the next few weeks to claw their way back into the 8? Brisbane also entered the top 4, and the Eagles farewelled their coach Adam Simpson as Liam Ryan celebrated his 100th game, which was so great to see. Now, the difference between 2nd place and 9th is just 1 game. This has to be one of the most exciting seasons we've seen in a long while. Now, we've only got 6 weeks left in the home and away season, and I'm absolutely on the edge of my seat at this point. The games that I will be keeping an eye on for next weekend will be the Hawks v Collingwood, Giants against the Suns, and of course the Cats taking on the Dogs. Promises to be an absolute ripper. Let's see how it all shakes out by this time next week. That's it from me for another week. I'm Megsy, and I will see you next week for another edition of Yokayi Footy Shorts.
For the best and most comprehensive wrap of each round, Access All Areas is the show for you, unpacking all the action and dissecting the big news from each round. Access All Areas thanks to Crypto.com, Mondays on AFL.com.au and the AFL Live app.